He doesn't look anything like me. Must be a mistake somewhere. Maybe he's not even my son, Andy remarked, openly favoring his good-looking and intelligent son over his daughter, Crystal. He told me, our daughter should get a job as soon as she finishes middle school and destroy the stuff we bought for her high school entrance. I couldn't take it anymore. I packed up and left, taking both kids with me. My name is Misty, an average 35-year-old stay-at-home mom. I used to live with my husband's son and daughter. My son, William, has always been handsome, mistaken for a girl when he was a kid. Friends would say, you should get William into acting or modeling. He's incredibly smart, gentle, and mature. By age 3, he conversed like an adult. On the other hand, my younger daughter, Crystal, is the cutest girl in the world from my perspective as a parent. However, her appearance differs from the conventional pretty girl. She's a bit plump with curly hair and a round face, not athletic, and slow to speak. To me, she's the most adorable girl in the world. Andy clearly favors William. When he gets home, he only pays attention to him. If Crystal tries to join in, Andy dismisses her, saying, she's creepy and trying too hard. William tries to include her, suggesting, let's all play together, but Andy discourages it, warning, don't play with Crystal, you'll catch her stupidity. William sits uncomfortably, understanding the situation. Even my mother-in-law, Jacqueline, dotes on William and mistreats Crystal. Andy's family owns a store, and Andy is expected to take over. This obligation leads us to visit my in-laws weekly. Every time we go, Jacqueline grimaces and remarks, oh, you brought Misty and Crystal again. You could have just brought Andy and William. She treats me like a maid over the phone if we don't attend. I don't enjoy visiting my in-laws, but Andy insists I help with chores. On this day, Jacqueline decides to take William and Crystal to a large local park. Crystal is thrilled to spend time with her grandma. I had an uneasy feeling, but tied up with chores as usual, I reluctantly waved them off. By evening, Jacqueline returned home carrying a tired William on her back. Oh, he's getting heavy. William's growing up, she cheerfully commented, but there was no sign of Crystal. Jacqueline, where's Crystal? I asked, my unease growing. With no hint of guilt, Jacqueline replied, I don't know. Both were looking tired, but I can't carry both, so I told Crystal to walk back on her own. I couldn't believe what I just heard. A chill ran down my spine. I bolted out of the front door and sprinted towards the park, rolling over myself in a panic. Who would leave such a small child alone? I prayed she was all right as I burst into the park. Mom? The moment I heard that cry, Crystal leaped into my arms. I felt the tension drain out of me. A police officer was standing nearby. You're her mom, right? He asked. The park staff found her crying alone and called us. You shouldn't leave such a small child unattended. The officer admonished me, but then patted Crystal on the head, saying, it's good your mom came for you. I bowed my head to the officer several times and tightly held Crystal's hand as we headed home. On the way, Crystal spoke up in her innocent words, Mom, I was sleepy. Grandma said I could nap, so I slept on a park bench. When I woke up, no one was there, and I cried. I'm not mad, Crystal. I'm sorry, I said, my heart still racing with fear and relief. I scared you. I couldn't help but hug Crystal, who was carefully reading my expression. When we got back to my in-laws' place, both Jacqueline and Andy sighed at the sight of Crystal. So she's found, huh? Frustrated, I yelled at Andy. Do you even care what happens to your own child? Andy wasn't ashamed. He fired back with something shocking. I don't care what happens to her. She's ugly and not smart. She doesn't look like me at all. You probably had her with another man and are making me raise her. But that's not going to happen. Upon hearing this, Jacqueline also chimed in. It would have been fine if she hadn't been found. Who knows where she came from? I've never cheated. Crystal is absolutely your child. Do you have any evidence of me cheating? I protested, but all they did was mock me. From that point on, my daughter and I never went back to my in-laws' house. No matter how much Andy scolded us or how many sarcastic comments Jacqueline made over the phone, I endured it all to protect Crystal. William had noticed how poorly Andy and Jacqueline were treating us. Grandma would get mad if I also stayed home. I'm okay going alone. You and Crystal don't have to worry, William said as he gently stroked Crystal's head. Although I felt guilty toward William, we stayed home. William is truly a kind-hearted child. Dealing with Jacqueline's mood swings must have been tough, but William managed it with his inherent brightness and charm. I've thought about divorcing many times, but without any qualifications and being just a housewife, I couldn't fathom supporting William and Crystal all by myself. So, I had no choice but to endure. A decade had passed since Crystal and I effectively cut ties with my in-laws. William had become a working adult, and Crystal was about to start high school, the new backpack and textbooks. She was looking forward to this new chapter in her life. And he still treated Crystal poorly, but we had both decided to ignore him. As long as William and Mom are on my side, that's all that matters, Crystal would say, which always made my heart ache. Still, seeing Crystal excited about her new life made me happy too. But then disaster struck, and he saw Crystal's new school supplies and went ballistic. What is this? You're planning on going to high school? We've raised you this far, and you're not even our real child. Quit school and start working. Pay us back for all we've spent, Andy yelled, ripping up her textbooks and tearing her bag apart, hurling them into the muddy yard soaked from days of rain. I'll make sure your mom hears about this, Andy said, dialing his in-laws. Jacqueline came over almost immediately, as if she'd been waiting for this moment. Who do you think you are planning to go to high school on our dime? You should be thankful you even got to go to middle school. Get a job as soon as you graduate and give us all your earnings, Jacqueline declared. Misty, you should be grateful we even took care of your affair child, she added, clearly enjoying herself. You two are nothing but a bad influence on William, our heir. You're both worthless. Get out. So there we were, Crystal and I, picking up her thrown school supplies, listening to Andy and Jacqueline's harsh words. Both of us were drenched in the rain. Rain soaked our hair, and droplets streamed down our faces to the ground. I couldn't tell if they were tears or rain anymore. With William already moved out, there was no one left to stand up to these two. Crystal and I looked at each other, and we both knew there was no reason left to stay in this house after that. We packed a few essentials and left. Andy and Jacqueline agreed to the divorce without a fuss. With nowhere to go, we turned to William for help. He was shocked to see us covered in mud and rain, but quickly understood the situation and welcomed us into his home. William offered me a warm shower, a change of clothes, and a soothing drink. Feeling a bit more settled, we sat down to talk about what's next. I got a call from Dad earlier. He says he's divorcing Mom and we should never let them in the house again, William said. He told me to quit my job and take over the family store. But I don't want any part of it. I can't stand him or Grandpa. Hearing this made my heart ache for William. I've always wondered how hard it's been for him, stuck between our family and his in-laws since childhood. I had put up with it for as long as Dad and Mom were married and while Crystal was in that house. But that's not the case anymore, is it? William grinned mischievously. How about changing schools, Crystal? I'm being transferred to another state. We can all move there and keep it a secret from Dad and Grandma. I hope their store goes under. Upon hearing William's enthusiastic proposal, Crystal exclaimed, I'm definitely in. I've always relied on William, so it made me feel guilty, but I decided to go along with it because it seemed like the best course of action. Everything fell into place smoothly after that. A few weeks later, we were settling into our new lives in a new place. What Andy and Jacqueline don't know is that Crystal is actually brilliant. She's always been good at tests, she just developed a little slower than others. She even aced the entrance exam to a top high school at our new location. Crystal and I both got new phone numbers, cutting off all contact with Andy and Jacqueline. William kept his line open just to keep tabs on them. He thought it would be best to have minimal communication to avoid being desperately searched for. 10 years have passed since then. Crystal is an adult now, and William has a decent job. We're all living separately. Today is a rare occasion where we've all gathered for a family meal. I decided to dress up a bit as I waited for the two of them. Suddenly, I hear, is that you, Misty? Yes, it's Misty, I replied. It was Andy, now balding and bloated, and Jacqueline, her hair completely white and hunched over like a character from a storybook. Where have you been for 10 years, Misty? We've been worried. Are you still mad about us claiming Crystal is a child of an affair? Come back. We haven't seen Crystal and William for years. Where are my kids? Andy ranted, saliva flying from his mouth. Yes, come back. We're in terrible shape now, Jacqueline shrieked in her hoarse voice. Despite the dramatic reunion, I felt nothing. I observed them oddly detached. Mom, what's going on? I heard a voice behind me. I turned to see a sharply dressed young man and a lovely young woman in a cute dress pointing at Andy and Jacqueline. Andy and Jacqueline were speechless. Is that William and Crystal? The young man asked incredulously. Yes, but what are Dad and Grandma doing here? William responded tersely. Wow, you both look incredible, Crystal. You've turned into such a beauty. I hardly recognized you, the young woman said warmly. I never imagined that little Crystal would grow up to be this stunning. I wish I'd been there to see it. Ignoring William's question, both Andy and Jacqueline shared their thoughts. You see, after Crystal moved away from Andy and Jacqueline, her life improved significantly. Whether it was the lack of stress or her active involvement in high school activities, she transformed. Her face slimmed down, and her eyes, once lost in baby fat, became more pronounced. Her hair, which was once unmanageably frizzy, gained a beautiful wave. Now Crystal is so adorable that she could stand next to a celebrity and not be overshadowed. Well, since her older brother William is handsome, Crystal must have had the potential to be beautiful as well, Jacqueline added. Both William and Crystal are successful and employed by big corporations. They are the pride and joy of me, their mother, so the family is back together after 10 years. Let's go out for dinner. I don't have money on me, but you both can pay, right? After all, I raised you, Andy said, placing his hand on Crystal's shoulder. She promptly slacked it away. Don't touch me, it's creepy. I've always been told I was a result of my mother's affair. I have no father, and you didn't raise me. Who are you? Crystal, now wearing heels, towered over Andy. Enough is enough, William stated calmly. I won't forget what you did to Mom and Crystal. Today is the last day we're in contact. Don't bother calling again. Andy exploded with anger. How dare you speak to your parents like that? Crystal, come home and marry a local businessman's son. William, come back and save the family business. Misty, apologize and serve us for the rest of your life. Andy's temper flared like wildfire. We exchanged glances and burst into laughter. Why would we want your forgiveness? What made you think that? Crystal said, smiling. I'm actually getting married soon, so that businessman's son is out of the question. I'm starting my own business, so there's no way I can take over the family shop. What a shame, it'll go under. Both of them laughed, shaking their shoulders. Andy looked desperate. Misty, you'll come back, won't you? His needy gaze was repulsive. No, Andy, we're done here, I replied, turning away with my children. Why would I return to that house? Who wants to be a housemaid there? Besides, I've remarried, so no, I can't go back. I flashed the shining ring on my left hand. What? You remarried without telling me? I won't accept this. Andy tried to snatch the ring off my finger, but before William could step in, another man came between us. Do you have business with my wife? No rough handling, please, Alan said, his presence imposing. Andy felt cornered. What's your deal? He retorted, trying to puff up his chest. I'm Misty's husband. As far as I know, you and Misty divorced a decade ago. I was the lawyer who facilitated the process. A lawyer? Andy seemed visibly shaken. That's right, I fell for Owen, the lawyer who helped me during my divorce, and we started dating. A few years later, we got married. Andy's face turned even redder. A lawyer, huh? Think you're something special because you make some money? Everyone, listen to me. Misty's my wife, and William and Crystal are my kids. You're in the way. With that, Andy charged at Owen like a raging bull, but Owen dodged smoothly. Unable to stop himself, Andy stumbled and rolled away, letting out a pathetic cry. Oh no, Jacqueline screamed in dismay. We all watched, holding our breath, wondering if Andy was all right. Lying on his back, Andy yelled, I'll forgive you all if you listen to me now. Good, he didn't seem to be badly hurt, but the fall did appear to shake him up quite a bit. What should we do now? I thought. Owen reassured me, I've called an ambulance. It'll be all right. Let's leave the rest to them. Crystal was fuming. You're too kind. You should have just left him. Even her angry face was adorable. Hey, our dinner reservation is soon. Let's get going, or we'll be late, William reminded us. Yes, today was a special family dinner day. With a reassuring embrace from Owen, we left. We could hear Andy and Jacqueline's verbal abuse behind us, but nothing scared us now. Months later, we heard that Andy's struggling business finally went under. Owen had gotten the news from a real estate contact. For 10 years after we left, Andy had kept things afloat surprisingly. Now, Andy was blaming the fall for not being able to work, leaving Jacqueline to handle both the house and work, struggling to pay off debts. Hearing this, I couldn't help but marvel at how karma works. What goes around comes around. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, I was trying on a dress for Crystal's wedding. That looks great on you. I wonder which one I should wear. To think I'd see the day I'd attend as Crystal's father, it feels like a dream. I turned around and there was Owen, holding two tuxedos in his hands, smiling shyly.